What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the Network 216 pregame show. Browns take on the Steelers today at 1 o'clock, looking to get some revenge. I'm joined by the greats, KC Kinnaman, right? Kinnaman.
You
I
got
always
it.
want to say
Cinnamon with a K.
It's not cinnamon with a K. Got it. All right. And King Edward, Eddie. How you guys doing today?
Fantastic.
Man, I'm doing great. Doing great. Sun's out. We got Jimmy D back in the booth. We got white face mask, Nick Chubb on the sidelines. It's a beautiful day. Fuck Pittsburgh.
Dude,
let's go.
That's right. Fuck Pittsburgh. I hate them.
I tweeted Puck Pittsburgh, trying to be, a little nice about it, and people called me out. They're like, "No, just say it. Stand on
fuck
that,
Pittsburgh.
dude.
Say it.
Just say fuck Pittsburgh." So here we are. We're saying it. We're getting it out now. YouTube, don't demonetize us right now. But hey, guys, what I want to see before the game is Nick Chubb break the guitar. That's what I want to see, dude. I think this would be the perfect game to do it. J.W. Johnson kind of alluded that something was going to happen. You don't want to miss what's going to happen with the pregame festivities. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't know how you guys feel, but
Nathan Segura dispelled it earlier in the week because that was kind of the rumors kind of bubbling. And he had knee surgery on Tuesday, his ACL repair on Tuesday. So I don't know I feel like he'll probably be the honorary captain going out to midfield, on the sidelines, probably crutches, like a leg immobilizer, that kind of stuff. I don't know. I feel like with the cardiac jerseys and the white face mask, they might bring back someone like Clay or Brian Sipe or someone like that for the guitar part. But I do think, dude, if the Browns can pull this off and wind up with a home playoff game, if you were to bring out Nick Chubb then to break the guitar, I don't think it would matter who's standing across from you on that field. I think the frenzy that would cause if you were able to do that. But yeah, it'd be interesting, man. I got people at the game. I got boots on the ground. I was like, tell me who it is because I want to know as soon as they know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is Chubb, actually, because I know everyone went nuts over his Instagram post the other day, and I did too. I fell into that. And like, Casey, I get everything that you're saying, and you're probably right. But for some reason, I just think it's Chubb. This is the team that took him out, not intentionally, obviously, but they took him out for the season. And then that altered the whole state of the Browns season. And yet they just keep going. And they've lost only 2 games since then, which is incredible. And 6-3, it's amazing. If no matter if it's today or if somehow we get that home playoff game and he smashes it, then whenever he picks up that guitar, that crowd is going to go nuts. And as soon as he smashes it the first time, that's probably going to be one of the loudest sounds we hear for either whether we're there in person or, in our recliners. I would love to see it personally. I would like to see some cardiac kid stuff too, being that they're using the white face masks. And it was like 30 years ago that Metcalf returned 2 kicks. Hopefully we can have that same luck today. So I'm excited. No matter who it is, I'm excited. And I need to be there for an actual game to see the guitar smash.
I think it'll be even crazier. Like even before he smashes the guitar, whenever he does do it, as soon as they flash that bat signal on the scoreboard, like that, like just there for that moment.
I just got chills from that, and I didn't even see it yet.
Right, right. So I'm
saying that would be absolutely amazing if we saw the bat symbol and then Chubb just walked out onto the field, dude, or something. Something that's gonna, one, get the crowd hype, but 2, puts that energy on that team that it's that week anyways, man. Like. You can't lose to these guys again.
Nope.
You just can't. There's too much riding on this. You win today, no matter. I don't even think it matters if DTR plays bad. If you win today, it's just that little confidence boost that now we're sitting at 3-2 in the division. If we win today, it's anyone's ball game right there. If you win today, I think you're still talking playoffs. You're still talking possible home field advantage in the North. You never know what could happen later on in the season. Lamar just lost his best target. Joe Burrow just went down for the season. AFC North is up for grabs still, in my opinion. I don't know how you guys feel, but
it's the difficulty of schedule too. You got to look at what the Ravens have ahead. They have a murderer's row ahead. So to Cincinnati, but without Burrow, you almost kind of factor them out of it, which who knows, man? I mean, we've seen wilder things, but I could see them packing it in easier just because they're already down in the division in the AFC. I think they've got one AFC win this year. So I can see them packing it up quicker. Steelers,
they don't have any
cockroaches. They're cockroaches. They have a mid-level schedule. I think they're the ninth best schedule, I believe. But they're a high floor team that's well coached and they're very opportunistic, man. They just keep winning, So who knows if even if they lose to us today, who's to say that they'll be out of it just because they could probably scrape together enough wins to be relevant at the end of this.
Yeah, it's the luckiest team in the NFL. Eddie said yesterday, I believe. Like,
yeah,
I don't.
Tyler brought that up. Tyler brought up the luck, and then I did call the luckiest team.
I just don't understand how this team can. The point differential alone, you would look at that and you would go,
they have yet to outgain a single opponent on the season, and they've got 6 wins.
Yeah,
how?
That's insane.
How's that happen?
Insane. That's that stupid ass Steeler way. That's what it is.
Yeah,
they call it.
They're
the Steeler
opportunistic,
way.
man. They are.
And what it is like, so I was talking to someone last night, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the Steelers defense is pretty good." I was like, "Actually, they're not." And he's like, "What?" And I was like, "They're like ranked in the bottom like 5 or 6 or 7 in the NFL." And he's like, "No, they're not." So he looked up. He's like, "Oh, the Browns are first." I was like, "Yeah, they are number 1. Thank you for telling me that." And the Steelers like 28th overall. It's like 25th in passing and 27th in rushing or something. I forget the actual number. I know they're 28th overall. And he was like flabbergasted by this. I'm like, they stink. I was like, what masks them though is they get those turnovers that either give them short field position on offense or they just score themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to with this team. That's how they've been getting by. I know Kenny Pickett hasn't turned the ball over in like 4 or 5 games, but he still hasn't done anything like, oh wow, okay, he has something there. He stinks, and yet they're still winning. How? I have no idea. Today would be a great time to humble them.
Speaking of that defensive, like opportunistic ability they have, they forced 6 turnovers in the red zone, by far first in the league. Like,
and one was
timing.
Yeah. Oh, no, I guess one wasn't in the red zone when the Browns did it because that was just on their own side of the field, and that was just I don't get how they keep doing it. Their roster is not that good. Their roster is not as good as what a lot of people think, but they have key players at different spots that highlight that. You know, TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith. Alex Highsmith is arguably the most underrated defensive lineman in the league. And there's cases for other guys, but he doesn't get talked about. You always hear about Cam Hayward and TJ Watt and Minkah Fitzpatrick. You rarely hear about Alex Highsmith, but he's the type of player that can disrupt a game, and he did against the Browns. You know, they scored 2 touchdowns that game defensively. They don't score those, they don't win.
No. Their whole defensive line is, in my opinion, you got Cam, you got Benton, you got Larry O, you got the edge rushers we always talk about. You know, like they're very solid up there, but the rest of that's makeshift, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's PFF has the Steelers ranked 15th defense overall, 16th offense, and overall rank of 17. Yeah, I know.
Offense.
I don't understand it. And we're 22nd. That's why some people don't give any respect to PFF because their rankings sometimes just don't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't understand
because the Browns have scored 20 points in almost all of their games, but like 2 or something like that. So like I don't understand where the Steelers are like the 3rd like lowest scoring team in the NFL. They score like 16.5 points a game. That's not even 2 touchdowns and a field goal. That's insane, and they're still winning. I think their point differential was like a -26 last time I saw it.
Yep.
And it's just like, how does that make sense when the Browns are plus? Usually we don't see the Browns as a plus, and we are, and luckily we're still winning. We're doing things, I think, you know, in a better way where we're not considered fraudulent because of our defense and whoever's at quarterback. You know, someone's gonna have to step up, and you know Watson did for a little bit, then he gets hurt on. Of course, a rare freak injury that only happens to a Cleveland Browns quarterback. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and we'll get into this now that you kind of brought that up. DTR making, I'm going to say his first official ready start in the NFL. Again, it's against another divisional opponent. Never easy. You're at home though. I trust that Stefanski, AVP, and the boys prep this kid to be more ready than, hey, 10:30 a.m. You're going out there and you're playing the Baltimore Ravens. How do you guys feel? What do you guys expect to see out of DTR today? And I mean, should some fans lower their expectations? I'm seeing some people say, "Oh, he's going to shock the world today. He's going to do this, going to do that." I'm kind of lowering my expectations on him, but kind of being optimistic on the team as a whole coming out and just pulling something through.
What is shocking the world, though? What exactly is he shocking the world with? Like, what does that define? How does that define?
I would assume.
I would say 0 turnovers would shock the world right now for me.
Yeah, and I think that's what you need to see out of him is just don't turn the ball over.
That's what we need to see out of him. But that's not a shock the world thing. We've seen rookies come in and play well this year. We've seen backups play well. We've seen Will Levis go out and throw 4 touchdowns in his first start that he was prepped for all week. Now I'm not saying DTR is going to come out and throw 4 touchdowns. That might be a shock the world thing, and all that. But shock the world. There's no shock in the world for him. All he has to do is play confident at that position. That's all he has to do is be confident. Don't turn the ball over. And if you do, make sure it's like one of those deep shots down the field where it's like a punt anyway. Don't give it to them in short field position. But there's no real expectations for him because everyone wants to base it off that 2.5 hour start he had. Hey, you're starting. That's the best defense in the NFL or one of the best defenses. Here you go, kid. Good luck. The game's going to be fast to you still, but that's okay. We're not going to alter the game plan because we can't 2.5 hours out. Now he has the whole week. They came out and said he's our starter, replaces PJ Walker. Guys have said that, it's, coach and player talk throughout the week. He's dialed in. He's making throws. He's having, good rapport with his receivers in practice. So who knows what can happen, but there's no shock the world thing unless he comes out and has a CJ Stroud type game.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to ever I don't think you're going to expect that at all the rest of the season coming out of DTR. I think what you need out of DTR, man, throw the ball 25 times, make the right throws, run. We're going to run the ball. I think that's what we're going to do. You have 3. Now you're going to see more Pierre Strong. I really expect to see more Pierre Strong. You're going to have a 3-headed monster out of the backfield with Ford, Hunt, Pierre Strong. You're going to see kind of like, in my opinion, a Kyle Shanahan type offense where you rely on the run game and your quarterback's just going to make the throws that he needs to make. And I honestly think DTR can be that quarterback where he can have that confidence and make those throws at the same time because, I mean, dude, in the preseason we saw it. I get it. I said it yesterday on Faithful Dogs podcast. That's not against, elite defensive, players. It's not. But the kid has confidence. The kid had a good draft stock coming out of UCLA. He looked good at UCLA. And I think if he just builds that confidence, opening up the field a little bit, I think you can see a decent game out of him where he just makes, 15 to 16 throws that just put us in positions to win the ball game.
I don't have any expectations, but I am excited to see what the game plan is for this young man because I believe if you put him in certain positions, more often than not, you're going to get favorable results. Last week, they were able to execute their gun run. I need to see more of that. I need to see this kid in the shotgun, keep him without turning his back to the defense as much as possible. RPO him to death, move the pocket around, find quick, easy stuff, feed in Njoku, let him get your yak, and then strategically find ways to take shots. Don't take them just to take them, but strategically find ways to loosen up the defense. He already has a rapport with Cedric Tillman. I would like to see 1 to 2 plays vertically to him. Amari's going to be what Amari is. He's going to be where he's supposed to be. We'll see how that kind of game scripts out. But you got to run the shit out of the football, my man. You got to. You got to stay up with the sticks. Keep this kid out of 3rd and long because that's when the bad stuff will undoubtedly happen against the Steelers. So, and Eddie pointed to it. Not all turnovers are equal, man. If you can, I would love a clean script. I would love a clean sheet at the end of this, but probably not. You're probably looking at 1 to 2, but just make those so they're long punts. Don't turn it over in your end. Do not set this mid-level ass Pittsburgh offense up with an easy field. Stay out of that. If just try to keep everything on the other side. Try to get every possession to end in a kick, one way or the other, man. If punts aren't terrible, you got a good punter who can directionalize. You got a good coverage team. Let your defense do the heavy lifting and just be opportunistic when you get your chances in the red zone.
I actually alluded yesterday, Casey, and I mean, I'm not sure if we're going to see it a lot, but like you said, move the pocket for DTR, kind of run what Sean Payton did with Drew Brees in New Orleans, kind of just scramble him out, open up the field a little bit so he can see downfield, make proper reads, run if he has to. I wouldn't mind seeing something like that along with the RPOs.
Yeah. And that's if you watch him at UCLA, man, this is a kid that when he does tuck it and he does decide to run, he's not just going to run out of bounds. He will cut back in, protect yourself. But this is the most dynamic player we've seen with legs in a Browns jersey. Full stop. No one's had this kind of running ability. Now you don't want to use it to death, but you definitely need to utilize it to his advantage, man. Keep the defense as honest as possible. And he can do that with his legs. It's just We saw more of the RPO stuff last week as well. There's some of the integration that you need for DTR took place last week.
Yeah.
So I just want to see that kind of evolve now. And these next 8 games, it's about getting this kid to his ceiling, whatever that is, as a rookie. That'll evolve as his career evolves. But in these next 8 games, you need to constantly be tweaking game plans and personnel groupings and figure out what's going to work best for him. And unfortunately for him, you're doing it against a division opponent. Lean on that defense and run the football, man. I think that's the game script.
That's definitely the game script. But I know. I think I know. I'm going to say this. Kevin Stefanski, he's been through all this shit as a head coach, all these different quarterbacks, and all these different all these different distractions. OBJ's dad, and then the whole Watson ordeal when we first got him, and all that. And yet he's still a winning coach. And yet this year he's 6-3 for the second time in his tenure, and he is great at scheming what's best for his players. Last week, he schemed the offensive line, like the offense around the offensive line, the makeshift line, and they look pretty damn good for the most part. Did allow a few sacks, but that's the Ravens. That's going to happen. But they rushed for 178 yards, and Watson was part of that. And with DTR, he has a similar skill set as Watson. He can scramble and use his legs to either extend the play and make a throw, or you just take off. I'm not saying he is Watson or they're the same player or anything, but there's a similarity in their games. And we saw the video this week. Kevin Stefanski was the one who made the call to him. Hey, you on our team? That was his pick. That's who he wanted. And now he gets a chance to mold that clay that he picked out. And we'll see what he can do. I'm very excited to see how he schemes this game up. And I will bet the first drive, especially if we get the ball first, we pass 2 of the first 3 downs. We'll pass on first down. We'll run on second down. We'll pass on third down. And depending on how where fourth down is, that because I feel Kevin Stefanski is going to try and be not overdo it, but he's going to try and prove like, hey, okay, give me another obstacle. I'm going to overcome this one too. And I'm going to show you guys that I'm for real as a coach and my team is for real as contenders.
Yeah, that's good you mentioned that, because I don't, like I said yesterday, Eddie, I don't want to see run first down, run second down. Okay, now it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, throw the ball. That's not putting DTR in positions to be successful. That's going to force him to force the ball into positions that you don't want it to be in. And another position that I'm very interested in seeing is red zone offense this today at 1:00, because that Steelers defense, they don't really want to play defense until you get to inside the 20. Then they're like, okay, now we're going to turn the ball over. Now we're going to make plays. I don't want to see us, I don't want to see DTR, force the ball in the red zone, try to make those highlight plays like PJ Walker did. He did. He almost blew that game where he tried to force the ball to Amari Cooper when Stefanski and Watson said, don't throw it if nothing's there, just run it. I want to see DTR make the right decisions in the red zone. I want to see Stefanski scheme up a great game plan in the red zone, which we know he can do. And again, just take the points, take what the defense can give you. You got Hopkins at kicker now. You have someone you can trust to put points on the board for you, and you got a defense that you can trust to get off the field, get the Steelers off the field. So I just want to see DTR just play smart and build confidence today. That's my most important aspect of this.
Yeah, the efficiency in the red zone, I think that's huge when you get those opportunities. I lean on the Chief, man. I look at Njoku as just, and you see what DTR did in his first game. That was his security blanket. And Chief, obviously was playing 24 hours after receiving severe burns, but he still performed admirably in that game. But you've seen him lean on Chief. I want to see that continue, because those are like easy handoffs. And that's a guy who's super physical. It's like an extension of your run game, and he gets yards after the catch. So lean on that. That's something that for a rookie, that's the best thing you can have, is a tight end that defenses have to respect as a blocker, so they can't just assign, small guys to him. He's going to be covered by linebackers. And Pittsburgh suffered, man. If you get past their defensive line, this isn't a typical Pittsburgh team. Like this, they're depleted. Their secondary's banged up. They got their best players are rookie. Minka's out. That's massive. That is Keanu O'Neal's been playing well. He's out, so you got to take advantage where you can. And I think Chief's the guy.
Yeah, speaking of Chief, you can go over to Homage and get the Angry Run shirt. They do a new one every week with whoever has the angriest run of the week. And it was Njoku last week for that incredible catch and run and dragging a bunch of Ravens defenders. Homage.com. Check all of our links on all of our social medias. Get it there. It's a fantastic shirt. I'm going to be ordering it soon. I have a Homage order to make for Christmas soon, so I'll be ordering it for myself for Christmas. So he's absolutely been fantastic. and Njoku, that is. And a lot of people want to, want to declare him as like an elite tight end. He's not elite. He doesn't have to be elite. He doesn't have to be, Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews or anyone like that, because they're like in a league of their own. George Kittle. He just has to be who he is, and that's what he's been doing. And I think that's going to be a great security blanket. He was that for him, it was unscripted, sort of scripted towards Deshaun Watson, not Dorian Thompson-Robinson. And now it's scripted toward. I think we're going to see a lot more Njoku. I think we might see him like a lot of the little shovel passes too. He can come motion, then that little flip. I think we can see that a couple of times from him, just because of his explosiveness. Once he gets that football, boom, he's north south, and he is just going full steam ahead.
Yeah, and I think the finish off with the offense, I think one of the most important, as we're waiting for the inactives today, but I think Jerome Ford has been balling out against divisional rivals right now this year, guys. I've been iffy on him, but I think week 10 he averaged 6 yards a carry. Week 2 he averaged around 6 yards a carry. We feed him. I think we got to feed him today a lot, especially if he just runs north and south. Please just run north and south. That's one thing that's been eating at me this year. Elijah Moore running east to west. I don't know. What do you guys feel? Do you guys feel it's going to be a Jerome Ford game or a Kareem Hunt kind of game?
Well, I mean, you're going to need Kareem to be the short yardage guy. That's who he is. But Jerome Ford is much more comfortable running out of the shotgun. You saw that last week, and that's something you need to lean on with Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So I would assume, that you can tell that for whatever reason they are super high on Jerome Ford. Like that is their guy. So I expect him to be the bell cow early. I do want to see now. Hopefully, Strong's all the way back from his hamstring, because they really haven't used him much since he hurt his hammy. So hopefully they can ease him back in, because I believe he gives you a more explosive element out of that backfield that you don't have out of Ford or Hunt. But this is going to be one of those gritty Hunt games where he's going to be called upon. There's going to be some short yardage situations, and that's got to be the guy. He's built for that. That's exactly what he is at this stage in his career. And especially when you get in the red zone, if you get into that inside the 2, that's Kareem time right there.
Yeah.
100%. That's what they have to do. Yeah. Ford carries the load for the most part, or on the second and third and short, here, Kareem, get this first down for us. Come get a breather. We're going to scheme up and we're going to get down the field, and you're going to cash in from inside the 5. Okay, cool. Give me that ball. I'm scoring. I think he could have scored against who was it that he was mad he didn't get the ball with? Seattle. Oh yeah, Seattle on the 3rd and 3. So yeah, feed him on those short. That's what he's here for. He's not the Kareem Hunt when he was in Kansas City. He's not the Kareem Hunt when he first got to Cleveland, or that second season when him and Chubb almost both ran for 1,000 yards. He's not that. We don't need him to be that. He just needs to finish, the short plays, and that's what he takes like pride in that. He's embracing that role. And if Jerome Ford can stop doing that little hop step to the side every time he touches it, he did that last week. He didn't really do it that much. He grabbed it and he was in the hole already. Boom. A couple of yards. He had positive yards on all but like 2 or 3 of his rush attempts. I think it was. Even if it was just 1, that's still positive yardage. So he had that on most of his rushing attempts. If he can continue to do that, this Pittsburgh defense is Swiss cheese. He can run through them, because back in week 2, Nick Chubb was running wild through them, and he was about to take that game over and have a monster game until that bastard hit his knee. So I think that this is a big Jerome Ford game, but I think that if you're going to bet touchdowns, I'd go with Kareem Hunt to score the touchdowns and not Jerome Ford.
And I did that. Don't worry.
I saw that.
My degenerate side comes out on Sundays.
That's all right.
All right, guys, defensive side of the ball. I mean, I don't even really – there's nothing really I can say. It's like, oh, we need to get better here. But this team they're sneaky. The Steelers are sneaky. They find ways. Their running game is kind of picking up the last few weeks. Everyone's telling me they're not. But Jaylen Warren, he's a solid back. I think as long as you can stop Jaylen Warren, I'm not really too worried about Najee Harris. I'm not even just trying to talk crap. I'm just not worried about Najee Harris that much. In the red zone, he's all right from the 2-yard line. Feeding the ball, he'll score. But Jaylen Warren, solid back, fast off the ball, gets upfield. And then you got a quarterback who you don't know what you're going to get every week. He's very inconsistent. I just feel like the Browns defense, Jim Schwartz, make Kenny Pickett make plays and beat you. Simple as that. How do you guys feel?
Well, I'm with you. Like the Steelers, like Najee's playing better than he was. He's still not.
Absolutely.
He doesn't put fear in my heart when he has the ball. Warren scares the shit out of me when he has the ball. So, but they're starting to figure that out. Pittsburgh's actually, that usage is starting to shift more towards Warren. And it took him a while because I thought that was pretty obvious week 2. It's like, why isn't, like, thank God they're not giving it to him, but they're starting to figure that out. And this is, you got to pressure Pickett, point blank period. You got to. And in the first matchup, this is something I want to see with Schwartz pivots, because in that first matchup, the Browns played a lot more zone, and that's where they got burnt. And that busted play to Pickens. You know, I don't. The reason you go man, because you don't have to worry about Pickett tearing you up with his legs. You don't have to worry about turning your back to him from a defensive back perspective. So I want to see heavy man get up in these receivers and just make it a tough day and force Pickett to hold on that ball, because you know that pass rush is coming. So I'm expecting a big day from the defensive line. Be disruptive, be violent. I have a hard time imagining Pittsburgh gets 200 total yards of offense in this game. That's just where I'm at. I think it's going to be tough for them to move the football.
First off, Kenny Pickett sucks. I don't care what anyone says. I said this yesterday on FDP. I've said it throughout time to anyone that will hear me that's a Steeler fan. Oh, we go Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett sucks. He's below average. He's not even mid. He's just below mid. That's not good. And the pass rush, like you said, I think can and will get to him often. The Steelers' offensive line isn't the greatest. The Browns' defensive line just brings the pressure. And I think this is going to be a similar game to the Arizona game. Not necessarily like they just go 58 total yards of offense, but it's going to be one of those ones where the Steelers are going to have to fight for every single yard they get. They might have one of those drives like the Cardinals did where they get, a first down and extend it a little bit. But after that, it was nothing. So I think the pass rush gets after Kenny Pickett and forces him, and you can force him to beat you, and then you still have the coverage in the secondary that's just going to be there ball hawking and taking that, hopefully. So I really think that this matchup is just too overwhelming. Like you said, Casey, I don't know if it's under 200 or what, but it's going to be another similar game to the Cardinals. And here's a Browns defense. They're like, all right, we just came out and took care of business against the Ravens, and then people were still doubting our team because we just lost our quarterback. Let's us do the heavy lifting. Let's us, I said yesterday on FDP, beat the Steelers the Steeler way. Force turnovers and score off those turnovers. Whether you score yourself, whether it's a strip sack for a touchdown, or DTR can lead the offense, a short yardage for a touchdown. I think this is going to be an eye-opening game for people, but they're still not going to give us credit because they're going to say, oh, the Steelers finally had to come back down to earth if the Browns do win. But if it's another great defensive performance, you can't deny that.
No, you can't. Sorry, guys. I'm waiting for the inactives to come out here in a few minutes. Jim Donovan pictures are being posted, dude. I love seeing it.
That's what's up.
Dude. Yeah,
I'm excited today just to mute the actual broadcast, even though we actually have decent announcers, Ian Eagle and Charles Davis on the call on television.
I like that.
I'm still muting that, and I got my Sirius XM app ready, plugged in, just to listen to Jimmy D and Nate call the game. I'm looking forward to today.
Yeah, I just like you said earlier, I just don't know what to expect offensively necessarily outside of the run game. I just want to see DTR just play smart and just take what the defense gives him. I mean, you watch some of those plays early on in that Ravens game. Early on, he throwing zip, 4 or 5 yard chunk plays, and then it just got to the point where they just needed to get back in the game fast. You got down early. As long as the Browns can just take the points, don't get down early. Don't make this kid play from behind instantly against a divisional rival, because exactly, MPC said it. You can't have no slow starts, because if they get ahead early and the defense kind of gets out of rhythm and it just kind of looks like that Baltimore game, we could be in for a very, very long evening and very, very drunk afternoon. That's
one thing I will
Stefanski kind of alluded to. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You go.
Well, I think Stefanski alluded to it about how they want to get off to a fast start. He wants to get people in the stadium, wants to get things. So I think you understand the game script. This isn't a team you can fall behind on. So they want to get up early and kind of dictate, because then you can force Pickett to throw, and that just favors the Browns.
Oh, God.
Nice catch, though. Good catch.
Yeah. Fuck.
Out of bounds. Sorry, buddy.
No, you're good. Got it.
But about Stefanski, he doesn't get enough credit this year, and we've talked about him a lot, and he doesn't get the credit he deserves for all of he's went through. He's supposed to have his, elite starting quarterback in the NFL. And then game 1, okay, it's raining. Okay, him and Burrow aren't that good. Watson and Burrow aren't that good. Game 2, Watson looks, like Deshaun Watson of old. And then he's out for a month and a half. And then he comes back and he plays pretty well, and now he's out for the season. So credit to Stefanski, but he said it a few times. This team fights. No matter what, they fight. They don't point fingers at one another. It's not, if there's a busted play, it's not like, oh, you did it. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. There's none of that. Okay, let's get back to it. That pissed us off enough to go wreak havoc now. And that fight, I think, is going to carry over with DTR. This whole team is, ever since week 1, there's been injuries. Jack Conklin week 1, Nick Chubb, the heart of the team, week 2. Our starting franchise quarterback, a bunch of offensive linemen, and yet they keep fighting and finding ways to win. And for the most part, the defense is healthy. So if the defense can remain healthy, then you're going to be in every game as long as that quarterback play is competent. And I think they will fight and rally around, DTR, both offense and defense, to make it so it's the smoothest possible game he can have, and he can take advantage of that. So the fight of this team, I think, is a real, that's one of the buzzwords recently is the fight of the team, but they're showing it. That loss to the Ravens and then San Fran the next week, that would have, demoralized everyone, especially if they lost. But then they came out and beat what's it called? The quote unquote number 1 team in the NFL. And then, they lost to Seattle, and that also would have been a start of the downfall of the Browns. And it wasn't. They came back and responded, and they've responded well since then. So I think they continue to do that. They've been hit with adversity all year. I think I saw yesterday 28% of their salary cap is on IR. 28%, that's the highest in the NFL. Yeah. No one has had to overcome more than Kevin Stefanski and this Browns team so far, and they're 6-3. I think they can continue to build off that and keep fighting for each other.
The Browns inactives
we got him?
Yeah, the Browns inactives are out for week 11. Siaki Ika, I don't even know if he's going to play this year. Isaiah McGuire, Luke Whippler, Marquise Goodwin, Juan Thornhill was not playing today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's I know he was, battling at practice this week. I never heard anything that he wasn't going to play or not. I mean, that's the most notable one. That's why he went out and got Rodney McLeod. He stepped up before. So, but yeah, so looking good outside of Juan Thornhill. So
I would say that I'm glad that DeJuan Jones is back. I'm very happy about that. That makes me makes me way more confident. Like last week, I wasn't as confident in the offensive line going into that game because
he showed up holding a Chucky doll. Just so you know.
Excellent.
So he was ready to go. I knew he was ready to go as soon as the Browns posted that.
Yeah, I was worried a little bit going into that game last week, but the makeshift offensive line worked. And now you get one of your pieces back, even though he wasn't supposed to be one of your pieces. He's just filling in for the injured Conklin. Yes. But he's done great. His first start, hey, here's TJ Watt, buddy. Go ahead and try and solve that. And he held him in check for the most part. Yes, Watt had a couple disruptive plays, but that's not necessarily on Jones. But he held him in check. And hopefully he can do that again and give DTR time. But I'm very excited that he is off the injury report and he's back on that line, and see what happens.
I'm excited that they, even with getting him back, they didn't just automatically shift Hudson over to left tackle. They're going to start Christian over there. I think that's the move. You bring Hudson on the field for your jumbo packages. You already have Nick Harris as your fullback. You can go big unit when you need it. Because I was kind of worried that they might put Hudson at left tackle, which would worry me more. So I think they got their 5 best available on the field. And you gotta love seeing Big DeJuan back. He played very well actually against TJ Watt, considering that's his first NFL start. Mm-hmm. And here's TJ Watt, former defensive player of the year.
Who else did he have in his time? He had Watt, and then he had Bosa, and then there was someone else that, like, boom, 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 right off the bat.
Yeah. He went from TJ Watt, then he had Clowney, and then he turned around and he had, I think, Harold Landry, and then Bosa. Like, jeez. Just bang, 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 bang. Like, it's there's no, but that's the NFL, man. This is a guy who they didn't plan on playing at all this year because you had Conklin. You get to bring this guy along slowly, less than one half into his first game ever. Now you're the guy, and we've not came out of any of those games talking about DeJuan Jones as a problem. He swam right away, got thrown in the deep end, and so I think that's, I don't know. I'm grabbing that jersey. That's my next purchase. Is a big 79.
Yeah, I get really worried buying jerseys. I'm that type of guy. I buy a jersey and then the player's gone within a year or two. And, I have Baker Mayfield. I have Baker May. The only jersey I have right now is Myles Garrett that's still active. Yeah, I have Baker Mayfield.
I have Denzel Ward.
Okay. I have Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, I have a jersey of him. A jersey.
Honestly, I still love my Jarvis jersey though. Jarvis is one of my favorite.
I love Jarvis.
Yeah.
I love Jarvis.
Yeah.
He's old news.
I got a system, man. I wait till they sign that extension. As soon as they sign the extension, that's usually what I do. With DeJuan, I think it's safe because he's on a rookie contract. You got him for 4 years, and it just starts this year. So I get at least 3 years, no matter what, out of that jersey. I got a Nick, I got a Miles, but I also got like a Joe Thomas. I got Jim Brown. I got some they can't take away from me, no matter what. There's nothing they can do. They're permanent.
Dog Chug's weighing in. DTR season, Browns by 50. All right, when Ross says it, it has to happen. So if the Browns win by 50,
I just did a mini chug for you, Ross. There you go. Frosted sugar cookie. It's actually not too bad.
Ooh, that looks good.
I had a sugar cookie one last year, and it was horrible. Didn't taste anything like sugar or cookies.
Well, give me the flavor profile of that one. The one you said it's all right.
This one, it actually tastes like the frosted sugar cookie. Not like overbearing, but like sweet enough in a beer where it's like, oh, okay. And it went down smooth. So
Southern
got
tier.
Those yesterday. Yeah, it is Southern tier. You guys have Southern tier over there?
Yeah, they're pretty elite, dude. They're elite.
Yeah, they have a lot of good adult beverages. Responsibly.
Sponsor us.
Hey, we need to hit Southern tier up because I would love to be sponsored by them.
All right, boys. You guys ready for game predictions?
Let's roll.
Are you guys ready? Because
I'm always ready.
I mean, ready.
I don't know if you heard yesterday, Casey, but Tyler Johnson picked the Steelers to beat us today.
Pissed me off.
He picked the Steelers to beat us. He's trolling. Here's the thing. I think he is at this point because he is always on Twitter calling for Stefanski Coach of the Year. Stefanski doesn't get the respect, and then he picks us to lose to the Steelers today at home. So I don't know what's going on with, but I think he has to be trolling us, or it's a reverse psychology thing.
It could be.
I think he thinks that's what he's doing.
Yeah. But I wish everyone could have seen. If you guys didn't see it, go back and watch FTP from yesterday, and just look at all of our faces once Tyler says that. We're all just like, "What?" Like,
you know what?
I get it. Like, if you think they're going to lose, like, okay, pick that. Obviously, the Browns aren't going to or 17-0. And there's some games, sure, I picked against them in the San Fran game. I picked against them in one of the Ravens games, whatever. And I'm just like, okay. But the Steelers, come on. That first win was a fluke. I don't care what anyone says. That was a fluke. And then I'm not going to sit here and say that was a dirty hit. It was a football hit. It was just what it was. Unfortunate injuries.
It was
happened.
a take the life out of your team hit, though.
It was shitty.
It
was shitty is what it was.
When that whole stadium collected was like, oh
yeah.
I was just like, oh, he's screwed. We already used our F word allotments, I think, but he's screwed. And man, I just don't. I think with this team, they responded well. The Seattle loss, sort of pissed them off a little bit, and they came out and yes, it was Arizona, but they handled Arizona. I think they're going to think of that, that loss on week 2. Not only was it a loss in the standings, but it was a loss of their beloved captain. Everyone loves it. There's not one person that can say a negative thing about Nick Chubb. Even Steeler fans, Ravens fans, Bengals fans, they all have high praise for Nick Chubb. When Watson got hurt, everyone's like, oh, karma, blah, 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 all that dumb shit. But then when Nick Chubb got it, everyone in our division and around the league was like, man, that sucks. Nick Chubb's great. Like, there's nothing negative. They're going to remember that. They're going to play for him. I saw they're dedicating their season to him. If they haven't already, I just saw Mary Kay say that earlier. And just like, yeah, we come out here and smack them. That's what Nick Chubb would want. That's what Nick Chubb would do. He would smack them around. So, and we've seen that multiple times. Stiff arm, boom, see ya. I would love to see a Jerome Ford or even Kareem Hunt have one of those big stiff arms and have a big run like Chubb did and have that crowd just go nuts.
I love it.
I can't imagine a bigger red flag than not liking Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
Like if someone were to tell me, like Nick Chubb, there's not a bigger red flag. Like that'd be you'd be dead to me if you said that. So
right. And by all accounts, great person off the field, great teammate, obviously a great player, but the great person trumps all of that. And I've never heard one negative Nick Chubb story.
It's because they don't exist.
He goes and works out at his old high school, gives back to his community. He doesn't have to do that. He's rich.
And then at night, he's saving the city, bro.
That's correct.
Like
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Football by day, saving the world by night, dude. All right, boys. Yesterday I picked, what was it, Eddie? I picked 17-14 Browns.
17-9, I thought.
Oh, 17-9. Yeah, you're right. I didn't allow them to get a touchdown. That's what it was. All right. Well, I'm changing my mind a little bit. But
Okay.
don't think I'm never gonna pick the Steelers to beat the Browns ever. I don't care
Ever.
if we're 0-16, 0-17.
We're winning
Right.
that first game against them. That's right.
I'm never picking it, dude. Never picking it. I'm changing my mind a little bit. People are getting me a little hyped up around, the running game's going to open up for DTR to make those short chunk plays, feeding the Njoku. And I really do think Stefanski's learning to just take the points more. He definitely
now that he has a kicker.
Yeah, exactly. But exactly. So I got the Browns winning 24-9 now. I think it's going to be, like you said, Eddie, kind of that Arizona game, but Steelers are still going to put some points on the board. I don't think we're going to get a goose egg. Would love to see it, but I got the Browns 24-9 today. Defense is going to have a masterclass. I see it happening.
I'll build right off that. They are going to have a masterclass. They're going to get a defensive touchdown today. I also have them scoring 24 points. I got them giving up 10. I think they might give up a fluke touchdown and hold them to a field goal. But yeah, this defense is going to suffocate the Steelers offense, man. It's going to get gross. And we called it on Off the Leash. Jacobs got a touchdown for JOK today. So I think 24-10 is fine.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that. 24-9, 24-10. Eddie, what's going on, bro?
I said 23-3 yesterday. I think I'm going to stick to that. I think 23-3 sounds reasonable. I want to say 0 so bad. I really want to say 0. But
I do too, but
it's hard to shut out NFL teams. I don't care if it was the Cardinals. I don't care if it was Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I don't care if it was anyone in between. A shutout in the NFL is big time. You don't do that often because you're playing against 53 other guys that are professional athletes that are good at what they do. You might be better, but any given Sunday. But I'm still going to go 23-3. I don't think this is close. I think that the run game will be established, and I think we're going to see with DTR. I think we're going to see him in those short passing things to get him in rhythm, similar to how we saw Watson against Tennessee, and then Watson when he came back after his injury.
Yep.
Get those little short plays. Get that confidence up, and then run, and then here's a play action, and boom, here I'm going to try and find someone down the field. And you don't have to do that all the time, like Casey said earlier. You don't have to take shot after shot after shot, but at the right time, air it out, let that thing ring, and then if something bad happens, something bad happens. But I'd rather be put in that position, have it schematically open, okay, and he just missed the throw than not have that chance at all. So 23-3. I would love to say more. I would love to say Browns by 50. I would love to see 50-0 or 80-0. But obviously that's not realistic. That's just what I want. But I think it is. I don't think this game is close at all. I think the Browns are going to outgain them, and I think the Browns are obviously going to outscore them. And I think the Browns are going to just
control the clock.
Control the clock and impose their will. For the past 24 years, the Steelers have owned the Browns. That I'm tired of it. I said last year that this was the start of a new change with, there's no Ben Roethlisberger coming through that door. The boogeyman of Pittsburgh is not coming through there to haunt us anymore. Now we have this Kenny Pickett guy who stinks, like I said, sucks. And he's supposed to be the heir apparent to Ben Roethlisberger. Good luck with that, because he was pretty damn good, even though he's a crappy person. But I digress. But I just don't see how a Kenny Pickett-led offense can do anything against this defense. The first time they played, it was the second week of them together, the full week, and the second game together. They still had things to, work out. I think most of the kinks are kicked. There are a couple places they can improve probably, but not really. They're the number one ranked defense statistically throughout the board for a lot of things. 111 first downs given up, and the next closest is 146. The Steelers don't move the ball like that. So I'm expecting a huge defensive game. And while I don't think it'll be JOK that scores the touchdown, I do think it will be Greg Newsome that gets another one.
Ooh.
Okay, you want to know mine? If I have to pick a defensive touchdown today, I'm going to go Martin Emerson.
I almost went him.
I'm going to go Martin Emerson pick 6.
I was this close, but then something in me is just saying Newsome. There's something
about Newsome. See that
but how dope is it? How dope is it that we have these many options to predict defensive touchdowns and guys who can legitimately pull it off? Like, this defense is ridiculously stacked, dude. I mean,
Denzel Ward called them the best trio in the NFL, and I was thinking about it. I was like, okay. At first, I'm like, best trio, and then I thought about it. I was sitting there thinking, I was like, who is a better 3 in the secondary than those 3 right now? And I'm thinking, I was like, oh, these guys have 2. That's one, but it makes up. And I was like, there's really nobody. It's
Eagles
three.
kind of lost it over the offseason when they
Yes.
lost Gardner Johnson, stuff like that. So, I mean,
As of now, and how they played this year, what do they call it now? Lockdown the league? Is that what
lockdown
the
the
kids are
lake.
saying? Yeah, lockdown the league, and they do lock down, and all of them have had production this year. They all have at least one pick. The one Denzel Ward looks like the All-Pro player he was a few years ago. I know we had the injury scare with him, but outside of that, he's looked like the All-Pro that we've all known and loved him to be, and what the national media still views him as. So he hasn't like really lost a step. The injuries have hampered him a little bit, but he's playing great football. The whole secondary is. I think we see at least two picks though. One is going to be returned, and I think, like I said, it's by Greg Newsome again.
I would love it. I would love it. Boys, anything else to add before 1 o'clock?
Nah, man. Chubb, Jimmy D, white face masks. Fuck Pittsburgh. Let's go.
Yeah.
I just want to see that hype. Yep.
Homage.com, first and foremost. Check them out because they're tremendously good to us. I can't thank them enough. And I can't wait to see what they have. I know they're going to have more like holiday stuff keep coming. I can't wait for that because I'm a big holiday guy. Lockerverse app, we have a couple shows there every week. Check that out. FTP, which I jump on now, and it's a better time than my own show because I don't have to do anything. I just have to talk. That's great. So check that out. All of our social media is at network_216. If the Browns win again today, there will be another shirt giveaway tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So get into that. Nick Carnes has a great opportunity for tickets. All you have to do is retweet his post that he had, like it, and then follow. Was it Rocket Mortgage? Is that what it's called?
Cross Country.
Yeah, Cross Country. Sorry, wrong one. There's a lot of sponsors.
There's a lot.
From people.
There's a lot of mortgages.
Check that out. But as Casey said, fuck Pittsburgh. By $1 trillion.
Fuck Pittsburgh. All right, we're ending with that. Fuck Pittsburgh. All right, go Browns, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
Go Browns.